Super Tuesday 2008 saw voters across 24 states and American Samoa head to the polls to make their voices known in both major American political parties' primaries to determine their candidates for President of the United States. While the end of the day would see big wins for future President Barack Obama and his soon-to-be determined opponent, Senator John McCain, many people across the southeastern United States will remember this day for an entirely different reason. I'm Mapstronaut, and today I'm going to talk about the Super Tuesday tornado outbreak of February 5th and 6th, 2008. The Super Tuesday outbreak spawned 87 tornadoes, a record for a tornado outbreak in the month of February. 5 of those tornadoes were EF4 strength. From the time of the first tornado until the last, the outbreak lasted for 15 hours and 20 minutes. During that time, it caused $1.2 billion in damages, 57 fatalities, and 425 injuries. The states of Missouri, Illinois, Arkansas, Alabama, and Tennessee were impacted by the severe weather on the same day as their presidential primaries, which did force some polling sites to close early due to the approaching threat of storms. The outbreak produced several destructive tornadoes in heavily populated areas of Tennessee, including Memphis and Jackson. At the time of the event, this was the deadliest tornado outbreak since the full implementation of NEXRAD Doppler radar in 1997. It became the second deadliest February tornado outbreak since 1950, only behind the Mississippi Valley outbreak in 1971, which killed 123 people. It also became the deadliest outbreak in Tennessee and Kentucky since the 1974 super outbreak, and the deadliest tornado outbreak in the United States since the 1985 US and Canadian outbreak, which killed 76. There would not be a more deadly outbreak until the 2011 super outbreak, which killed over 300 people. The Super Tuesday outbreak produced tornadoes, significant straight-line wind damage, hail as large as softballs, major flooding, significant freezing rain, and heavy snow. Total damages from the storms would total $1.2 million, with at least $500 million being directly caused by tornadoes. Now, the best way to tell the full story of the Super Tuesday outbreak is to start from the very beginning of its story, the origin, if you will. It all started with a strong storm system approaching the southeast from the Great Plains early in the day. Ahead of the system, temperatures and dew points rose to unseasonable highs. In Arkansas, record highs were recorded at Jonesboro, West Memphis, Monticello, North Little Rock, and El Dorado. All of these highs in the 70s compared with the average high in early February in the low 50s. Temperatures in Alabama even reached the low 80s. Dew points in the mid-60s were recorded as far north as Memphis. This warmth and moisture served to destabilize the atmosphere and fueled the development of thunderstorms. A strong jet stream was positioned over the warm sector with winds blowing from the east, in contrast to surface winds from the southeast. This sharp change in winds resulted in much wind shear and wind profiles favoring rotating supercells capable of producing significant tornadoes. The strong jet also provided a great deal of lift, which further fueled the formation of supercells in the open, warm sector ahead of a cold front. CAPE values, a measurement of the level of tropospheric instability, were well over 1,000 joules per kilogram in the area. Storm relative helicity, a measurement of the potential for rotating winds, reached over 200 meters squared per second squared. At 6:39 a.m. Central Standard Time on February the 5th, the Storm Prediction Center issued a high risk of severe storms for most of Arkansas, the first time such risk had been issued in February since 1998. By 10:16 a.m., this risk was extended further northeast to include western Kentucky, northwest Mississippi, the Missouri Boot Heel, West Tennessee, and southern Illinois. A moderate risk extended outward to cover northwest Alabama, the rest of Arkansas, the rest of southern Illinois, southern Indiana, most of the rest of Kentucky, northern Louisiana, central Mississippi, parts of southeastern Missouri, southwest Ohio, eastern Oklahoma, middle Tennessee, and northeastern Texas. Over the next several hours, the Storm Prediction Center would go on to issue 15 watches. Of those, 13 were tornado watches. And of those 13, 2 were very rare, particularly dangerous situation tornado watches. A record number of tornado emergencies were also issued by various National Weather Service offices throughout the region. However, this record has since been broken. Early on the morning of February 5th, a squall line developed from East Texas up to Missouri and began advancing eastward. Storms began popping up along the line from northeast Oklahoma into southwest Missouri and extreme northwest Arkansas. Ahead of the line, the cap took longer than expected to break, but when it did, numerous supercell thunderstorms quickly formed across Arkansas and southern Missouri. At 3:26 p.m., the first tornado of the outbreak touches down in Hamburg in Ashley County, Arkansas. The Super Tuesday tornado outbreak had officially begun. Because of the sheer number of tornadoes in the outbreak, it would be nigh on impossible to discuss them all, so I'll instead be focusing this video on a more thorough discussion of a handful of significant storms, the first of which was an incredibly long-track tornado that cut a path across northern Arkansas. One of the supercells popping up began to show signs of rotation around 4:50 p.m. southeast of Centerville in Yell County, Arkansas. A tornado soon touched down southwest of the community of New Neely, causing minor damage to 2 structures and downing trees with EF0 to EF1 strength. The tornado tracked into Pope County, rapidly intensifying to EF3 strength as it slammed into Lucky Landing, a marina at Lake Atkins, destroying multiple vehicles, boats, and mobile homes, killing 1 woman. The tornado crossed Interstate 40, blowing several vehicles off the road, destroying 6 area mobile homes and damaging 5 others. Continuing northeast, the tornado struck the eastern and southern outskirts of the town of Atkins, killing 3, destroying or heavily damaging 65 homes and causing lesser damage to 39. The tornado actually carried papers from Atkins and deposited them further along its path near the town of Clinton. From Atkins, the storm continued northeast, toppling metal truss towers, destroying chicken houses, and causing damage to a church and gym. In the Happy Bend area, another fatality occurred as a man abandoned his mobile home and sought shelter in a metal shipping container, which the tornado tossed hundreds of yards into the woods. The tornado continued on and crossed into Conway County at EF3 strength, passing near the town of Cleveland. 36 homes and mobile homes were destroyed. 80,000 chickens were killed as area chicken houses were destroyed. An elderly couple lost their lives when their mobile home was destroyed. The tornado intensified to EF4 strength as it entered Van Buren County and tore along the south edge of Clinton, killing 3 in the area, including 1 at a destroyed boat manufacturing plant. Homes in this area were leveled and swept from their foundations. Vehicles were wrapped around trees and rendered nearly unrecognizable. A dentist's office was obliterated, and bark was peeled from trees. In all, 62 homes and mobile homes were destroyed, with 61 more damaged. Maintaining EF4 strength, the tornado continued into Stone County, slamming into the town of Mountain View. The hospital sustained heavy roof and wall damage. Several doctors' offices were destroyed, along with a paint shop, body shop, and car parts store. A car dealership was flattened, with vehicles being tossed a considerable distance. Surveyors observed a utility pole that had been pulled up, then jammed back into the ground with the wires still attached. A fire station in town was heavily damaged, along with 38 homes and mobile homes destroyed, and an additional 30 homes damaged. There was 1 fatality near Mountain View. tornado weakened slightly to a high-end EF3 as it crossed into Izard County, impacting the rural community of Zion, killing 2 and destroying 43 homes and mobile homes, damaging 50 more. Hundreds of cattle were killed in this area. A Jeep was stripped down to its frame and tires and found wrapped around the stump of a large snap tree. A license plate was driven into the trunk of a tree, and a home weather station in the area recorded a wind gust of 158 miles per hour as the tornado passed through the area. Maintaining EF3 intensity, the tornado moved into Sharp County and struck the town of Highland, resulting in severe damage. At least 40 businesses along U.S. Route 412 in town were damaged or destroyed. The fire station was destroyed, along with most of the equipment inside. 40 homes and mobile homes were destroyed, with 29 more sustaining damage. The Highland High School also took damage. Northeast of Highland, the tornado rapidly weakened and dissipated. The damage across 7 counties was caused by one continuous tornado, with a track estimated at 122 miles in length, the longest single tornado track recorded in Arkansas since detailed record-keeping began in 1950. At least 200 homes and businesses were destroyed. The EF4 tornado caused $119.3 million in damage, killed 13 people, and injured another 140 more. The second tornado I'm going to discuss took place in the Memphis metropolitan area. At 5:32 p.m., a supercell thunderstorm produced a multi-vortex tornado in South Haven, Mississippi. It struck South Haven High School at EF0 strength, causing minor damage before continuing northeast through the Carriage Hill subdivision, where it caused damage to homes. As it came to State Line Road and Airways Boulevard, the tornado rapidly intensified to EF2 strength and destroyed 3 warehouses. At EF2 strength, it crossed the state line and into Memphis proper, where live video of the tornado was captured and broadcast by WREG. NWS Memphis issued this day's first tornado emergency for the Memphis metropolitan area. The tornado produced considerable damage at Memphis International Airport. A hangar lost its roof, the FedEx Freight Terminal's fire station suffered roof damage, air stair trucks were thrown 100 yards, and aircraft were moved around, including a Boeing 737 moved 1 foot from its pre-tornado location. The airport's weather station reporting equipment measured a wind gust of 73 knots. In the Clark Road area, tractor trailers were tossed around. A power substation was severely damaged, and numerous warehouses were damaged or destroyed, killing 3. The Hardy Bottling Company was also damaged, which released 120,000 pounds of anhydrous ammonia into the atmosphere, although no public health impacts were reported. Continuing northeast, the tornado weakened to EF1 strength before striking the Hickory Ridge Mall, resulting in the total collapse of a large wall and much of the roof of the Sears department store. 6 were injured in the mall. A few other businesses were damaged along Winchester Road before the tornado dissipated. The same storm continued northeast, going on to spawn the next pair of tornadoes that I want to discuss. A pair of tornadoes striking the Jackson, Tennessee area. The first tornado touched down near the rural community of Yum Yum in Fayette County, and quickly reached EF3 intensity. Near the beginning of its path, a shed was obliterated, and a pickup truck parked inside was thrown 40 feet and mangled, killing a man in the vehicle. It crossed into Haywood County, weakening to EF2 strength before striking the town of Dancyville, destroying a house and damaging a church. It then struck the rural community of Hillville, destroying 2 mobile homes and damaging a house convenience store. The tornado regained EF3 strength as it entered Madison County and struck the Huntersville community, destroying multiple homes and killing 2. From there, it headed toward Jackson, blowing cars and at least 13 tractor trailers off of Interstate 40, including 1 car being thrown 75 yards. The tornado weakened and dissipated as it approached Route 412 and the populated areas of Jackson. Shortly after, a new circulation rapidly developed to the east of the first one. The second tornado touched down on the campus of Union University in Jackson, almost immediately intensifying into a violent EF4 and causing tremendous damage. Several campus buildings sustained major damages. 2 completely collapsed. 80% of the dormitory buildings on campus sustained damage or were destroyed. 12 students on campus were trapped in damaged buildings, but all were eventually rescued. Due to the damage, the university would close for the next 9 days. Past campus, the tornado weakened slightly to EF3 strength. It tracked across US Route 45, heavily damaging several banks, businesses, doctors' offices, and a hospital. Further damage was caused throughout the northern part of Jackson, including at the Northside High School and the Jackson Oaks Senior Living Complex. Madison County Fire Station number 11 was destroyed, with all the trucks inside sustaining damage. Shortly after striking the station, the tornado weakened and dissipated. 70 structures in Jackson were destroyed, with over 500 damaged. Thankfully, no deaths occurred in Jackson, despite the tornado striking the city after dark. The 2 tornadoes combined to cause $110.3 million in damage, with $47 million of that in Madison County and $40 million on the Union University campus alone. They caused 3 fatalities and another 65 injuries. Just after 9 p.m., a supercell that had spawned tornadoes over northern Mississippi and a deadly EF4 in Hardin County, Tennessee, moved over Nashville. Luckily, atmospheric conditions over Nashville and metropolitan Davidson County were not hospitable to tornado development, but things were different outside of town. Just after 10 p.m., a tornado touched down just southwest of Castellian Springs in Sumner County. This would go on to become the outbreak's deadliest tornado. It rapidly intensified to EF3 strength as it tore directly through town, destroying numerous homes and businesses, including the town's post office. A toddler in town was thrown almost 500 feet from his destroyed home, but was fortunately not one of the 7 fatalities in the town. Weakened slightly as it tracked into Trousdale County, the tornado passed northwest of Hartsville as a high-end EF2, destroying 10 homes and damaging 23 more, causing a major fire as it damaged a natural gas plant. 2 were killed at a home along US Route 231. The tornado re-strengthened to an EF3 as it crossed into Macon County and struck the western and northern sections of Lafayette, resulting in widespread major destruction. 170 homes were destroyed, 13 people were killed, and 44 injured. Debris was found as far as 70 miles to the northeast. It then continued across the state line into Monroe County, Kentucky as an EF3, destroying multiple structures near Gamaliel. 13 people from an area trailer park took shelter in the basement of a home that was destroyed, where they were trapped for around 30 minutes. The tornado remained in EF3 as it clipped the north edge of Tompkinsville, damaging and destroying structures. It began to weaken and eventually lifted as it crossed into Cumberland County. Over its 2-state path of destruction, the tornado caused $28.8 million in damage, 22 fatalities, and 63 injuries. While surveying the damage by helicopter, then Tennessee Governor Phil Bredesen described it as saying, "It looks like the Lord took a Brillo pad and scrubbed the ground." It was the deadliest single U.S. tornado since the Evansville tornado of November 2005. The final tornado that I want to discuss occurred in the wee hours of the morning on February 6th. At approximately 1 a.m., the broken squall line entered Alabama. Individual supercells began to develop along the Alabama-Mississippi state line due to the strengthening of an upper-level jet. A supercell that developed over Starkville, Mississippi, tracked over Lamar, Marion, and Fayette counties in Alabama before spawning a tornado in Lawrence County, Alabama at 3:02 a.m. The tornado touched down south of Moulton near the William B. Bankhead National Forest. Many houses were damaged or destroyed, and a church was leveled in this area. 3 fatalities occurred north of Aldridge Grove. A large brick 2-story home was completely leveled, and a truck was thrown more than 100 yards into a field. An elderly woman was killed, 23 others injured. The tornado was initially rated an EF3, but later analysis revealed EF4 damage. The rural Alabama communities of Wren, Speake, Pinhook, and 5 Points were hardest hit before the tornado moved to threaten the city of Decatur. NWS Huntsville issued the outbreak's 5th and final tornado emergency for Morgan County and southern Limestone County, including Decatur. Luckily, the tornado dissipated before striking town. All told, the tornado killed 4 and injured 23. When the sun rose on Wednesday, it shone on massive swaths of damage, tornado tracks across 10 states, and deaths in 4. On February 7th, the federal disaster declaration was made for 11 counties in Arkansas and 5 in Tennessee. 16 additional counties in Tennessee requested federal aid, and on February 12th, Governor Bredesen announced that 8 more Tennessee counties would be eligible for disaster relief funds. President George W. Bush visited Tennessee to tour the devastation on February 8th. The American Red Cross, Salvation Army, United Way, AmeriCorps, and other charitable groups mobilized volunteers across the region. In the 3 hardest hit Middle Tennessee counties alone, the Red Cross sent out more than 100 volunteers. The Tennessee Department of Human Services offered emergency assistance to low-income victims of the severe weather. The Nashville Predators announced that half of the ticket sales revenue from their February 7th game against the Tampa Bay Lightning would be donated to the Red Cross, with additional donation opportunities available at the arena's entrance. The Tennessee Titans and the Mayor's Office of Emergency Management of Nashville organized a donation drive during the weekend of February 9th at LP Field. All told, the impacts of the Super Tuesday tornado outbreak will be felt for years to come, and for many people in the region, the meteorological stories of the day would far overshadow the political ones. This has been Mapstronaut. Thank you for watching.